Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. So today I want to introduce you to a couple of the members of the community, Bill and Patricia Clum. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Awesome. Great having you here. So tell us, what is that you do?
Do you want to start?
That's her saying I better start. So we've been doing what we call, I was asked myself the question, I think we're like midwives.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people went to a certain place in life and nothing else seems to work, they seem to land with us. So we really believe that God brings the people that we're to work with. And in that place, when they're ready and willing, it just seems like it's a call for us to really come back home to our hearts. And sometimes that journey is terrifying for many.
Mm-hmm.
And we hold the space for it to happen. So little do I know in life that I would end up being a midwife, birthing people into consciousness.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain or even to put into words because it's so unique to each one of us. We're all so different.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of it is just beyond my own human words. It's just, I'm just so thankful to be doing this work. It took me a long time to get to it. I never thought this is what I'd be doing after 25 years of conscious work and experiencing different mentors.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last mentor I was with for 10 years. And he definitely held the light of integrity, love, compassion. And I learned a lot from this man.
Okay.
Patricia has another version of what we do. So.
Oh, no, just to add. So we really support people healing their heart and coming into their voice and their purpose, their soul purpose of what they want to bring forth in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that with sessions. We were doing live retreats. Now we are adjusting to online until we feel it's a good time to bring back live again.
Mm-hmm.
We hold the groups smaller because it's such a personal and intimate expression and connection with our inner being. So our groups are smaller, 10 to 14 people.
Yeah.
And community is all from all over. So people get really close, build friendships and work relationships as they're finding out more about themselves. So it's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you guys been doing this work?
We started doing retreats almost 10 years ago, and then over the years, pretty much full-time as of 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome stuff, awesome stuff. So in essence, I heard the word, in terms of transformation consciousness, right? So how do you describe it? How do you describe it?
That's a good question. So, in life, we all have our trauma. We're in different things in our own lineage that have happened and transpired. Then we are in the world and we experience the world. We experience the joy of the world and the pain of the world. And over time, as human beings, we build protection over our heart. So it looks like different things, like limiting beliefs, fears, ways that our being is trying to protect the most intimate, tender spaces inside. So we support by working with people to identify those protectors, to identify the limiting beliefs. And we use all different practices. So speaking as we're doing now, meditation. What happens is as people gather and their hearts start to open more and more and the fear settles and the mind settles, a lot of energy comes in to support consciousness itself, helps the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we have the built-in fight or flight mechanism. And so when people land somewhere, it takes a while to build the bridge, like me here and
the
you
bridge
here,
of trust,
of coming together and finding our commonality, our innocence, our purity, our God self. We come together and meet in the middle. And it's like a birth of consciousness. Whatever consciously I do, you do, Patricia does, actually goes into the collective, which is the bigger self of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just feel this is so important to be honest, and the protectors are so strong sometimes. It's just amazing how hard we fight against love, receiving love, accepting love, or believing.
Connecting to other human beings.
Yeah.
Like, even simple connection will push it away.
Mm-hmm.
Out of fear, and fear has so many faces, and it has so many different ways that shows up. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I don't quite understand yet, but I know that's a place. I was listening to one of my coaches. She's actually into the quantum type of healing and quantum type of stuff, and she
Yeah.
had me listen to this guy. I don't know his name off the top of my head or whatever, but typically when I go off, I typically at the end of the day, I typically go out for a walk or something, and I put on these tapes because that's typically one of the few times I actually have to relax and actually consume information, right? But something she told me when the guy was speaking, I can't remember his name, but he said there's a lot of things in life we understand, but there's a lot of other things we don't understand, and
Yeah.
it's things we don't understand that really needs our attention. So I know that I could definitely tell, because I believe that as I do these shows, I meet so many interesting people, and I realize that there's a journey that we kind of all go into, and at some point, there's just some individuals I run into. They just found the purpose. They've just found that one thing. And it definitely seems like that's where the two of you guys are. You guys seem to be masters at what it is that you do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of it grew within us.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had glimpses or moments in life where we thought, wow, this really feels good to be a human right now,
Mm-hmm.
in this space with another human. And it took time, like through our lifetime, to recognize that this movement was growing in us, this purpose or this way of serving community, serving another, and it grew in us.
Mm-hmm.
And like just feeling you. So I'm so curious about you.
Me too.
Like you feel like a very curious human being, and you feel like you really care for humans,
You have a very deep
personal
love that you hold inside. I can really feel it. It almost brings me to tears, because as a man, I can see who you are and feel you. And wow, just really honoring you, the space you hold.
Beautiful.
Awesome, guys. I love it. I will take it.
Receive it.
Yeah.
We can't give what we haven't received in life.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So now, what is since COVID-19? Because you guys did a lot of offline events as well, too, right? So since COVID-19 hit and it kind of brought everyone online, has mostly the work shifted into the virtual space?
Yeah. A aspect of it, so smaller gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like we're allowing that evolution to happen. We're feeling into if the gatherings online are going to be a bit longer. It takes a lot of, as you know, it takes a lot of energy to also be online for a period of time. So we're just finding our own movement in that, how this work gets translated and shows up. We still support everyone with sessions. We do like an hour-and-a-half gatherings for anyone that wants to join us. Bill does hour-and-a-half for men. I do 3 hour for women. So it's just, we're allowing the movement and change to happen as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to say is that as a human being, we can relate that we've all had things happen to us, We've all had things that we've all moved through, grief, fear, and it's impacted us each individually in such a different way because we're different human beings. And yet when we come together and when we open to support and witness others, we witness how others move through grief, say, or move through something that's happened, a pain or a loss, or even anger itself, I mean, anger itself is a profound call of the universe. really creating movement. Voices are rising. All of it is a necessary human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's almost like a primal scream that our humanity holds within inside at that time, or that spark of light that created us, wherever we landed in the world, however we landed. And there's a place where the anger actually is our divinity opening. It's kind of the anger, the rage inside cracks open the shell, like when the chick is born. The crack starts, and then the crack gets bigger, and then there's that place where it's finally birthed. And I feel that's how one of the aspects of how we're birthed into the planet beyond, our contraction, our humanity, what we think we are, who we think we are, what we believe, all of that has been challenged by consciousness itself. And so in that conquest for truth, it's already here. It's already in us. And we just believe it unwinds. It's more of an unwinding than an undoing, than a seeking for me.
It's like that good point. It's that place where we stop looking for outside and we really start looking inside, becoming accountable, becoming responsible, becoming curious about what's moving inside of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's some pretty powerful stuff. I know most of my audience, right? So with what we do, we basically help coaches, consultants, and service providers get to a place where they are making a difference. They are getting clients. They are making money and stuff like that. But a big part about what I realized about this whole industry and everything that we do, it's all, when you first get started, right, you're looking for all of the techniques, all these different things. And I know for myself, that's definitely how it started off for me too. Like, what's a technique? What's this thing? What's that thing? And it wasn't until I kind of, well, my story was I moved to California for like my first 2 years. I'm trying to grow my business. And for the life of me, I just couldn't figure it out. I tried every technique, about every program, like, what is happening? Why is this so difficult? And it just really reminded me of like the way when I think about what happened was I had to stop looking for the answers out there, right? I really had to look internally and figure out, okay, what's going on? What beliefs, what values, what meta program, like what's inside of me that's causing that's having it reflect out into the world in this sense. It wasn't until I went out and like fixed what was going on in here, all of a sudden the world just showed up, it was always there. It was just that where there wasn't aligned, the energy, whatever, just wasn't at that right frequency. And I definitely believe that a lot of where we need to be as humans is, instead of look on the outside, right, it's all about the internal, right?
Yeah, you got it right there. Everything that you just spoke is so important, because in that, when we have that awareness and we start to do it, I call it like digestible bites. We take information from the outside in digestible bites, and then we begin to integrate it, and we begin to feel it, and then we begin to live it, and we let go of what no longer works. It just takes a moment to look everything. 2020 is an amazing year of such deep, profound movement in humanity globally.
Yeah.
So in that, is a beautiful space, like to feel everything, bring it inside, let it integrate, allow it to become alive in you, and then let go of the rest. Because we know just on a level of humanity and the level of the climate, old systems no longer work. So that's what's being cracked into right now. Old ways of being, old systems, old constructs. So whatever, like you said, whatever is alive outside of us is in us somewhere. To feel, to let go, to the pieces that still nourish us, to stay with us, and the other pieces, allow them to dismantle and fall away. And as Bill was saying, an undoing.
Yeah, we're in a lot of paradigm shifts, like the old belief from religious systems is we have to sacrifice in order to know God. And so what happens is gravitation, like Einstein defined gravitation, or gravity is love. So I asked the same thing, God, what is gravity? And I heard it's the energy and the sacred and the purest energy that holds everything in place in our universe for us to have our experience. And so in that place, gravitational grids come to the planet like this wave that's hitting us right now, the whole world, especially the US right now, it seems. Everything's coming into the light. Everything that needed to heal is being pushed up by love. And it's we're right here saying, well, we want to awaken. Well, this is what it looks like. Is it comfortable? No, it's really uncomfortable right now. So the uncomfortable actually is the movement when we can sit in the discomfort. And then our willingness to respond, our willingness to be responsible is the beginning of it beginning to heal within. And so it moves us into that place of comfortable again. So these gravitational grids come in and crash into the old paradigms that no longer work for us. And so even in the crashing into or the moving into the old paradigm, what's beautiful about it, the consciousness of it, it also is a solution. Not only is it moving us into a new one, but it's a solution to the old paradigm that moves us into this new frontier that has maybe never been walked before.
Goodness, how many books have you guys written?
0.
This is
What?
wonderful because we actually have one in process. So we'll let you know when it comes out.
Awesome. Does it have a name yet or still in process?
No.
We're still working. It took us a while to come up with Evolution of the Heart.
That's our company name.
And so it's all about the heart. And the heart is the infinite space, Even I just love Einstein. He was such a conscious man. I never knew that way back when, but I just heard his name a lot. He even said that his MC squared was not the answer, and his theory of relativity was challenged, every new concept. And then he wrote a letter to his daughter, said, don't put these out until you feel that mankind is ready. And he said that love multiplied times the speed of sound, which is 186,000 miles per second, is what it would look like if we connected that to the love. We'd be a love bomb in the planet. I think we could use one. We probably should have it under construction right now. It probably is already.
Exactly.
It's happening. Yeah, so, yeah. Do you have any other questions?
Oh, yes.
Questions.
Yeah. So what do you, in terms of, let me see, where someone typically at when they meet you on the journey and they're like, okay, that, what you say here, it makes exact sense. That's, I definitely want to take the next step or whatever with you. Where's someone typically at?
Yeah, it's usually someone that has looked outside a lot, maybe has gained a lot of living knowledge, and they just feel the call. They feel that space where, okay, I have all this awareness, I have all this learning, yet there's a gap somewhere
I'm still in pain.
Or I'm still in pain, or there's a gap between what I'm really wanting inside and what's happening in life. So there seems to be a gap. Or like Bill said, there's a pain. Some people come just with a lot of pain, feeling, is there anything else? There must be something more, or other people coming knowing there's a more, not quite being able to translate it, but just, we call it the heart gets called. So your soul and heart get called into it. As human beings, looking outside self is natural as part of our growth. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's how we receive this planet and the people in it. And then different things in life will start to turn us back in. And what we've noticed is some human beings they hold a bigger pain body. So it can be something quite momentous in their life to turn them back in, where other people just kind of are restless, at night or when they're alone or driving in their car. They're like, oh, there's got to be something more. And we have so many different people that join us. We have coaches, we have therapists, we have teachers, we have parents, psychologists, doctors, naturopaths. Only because, when you get everybody together, you realize that each of those individuals just have this call in their heart to really serve and live their highest calling, really serve humanity. And they're sparked with possibility of how does their gift translate into the world? And they want it to be a pure translation. Just as you were saying earlier about you letting go of some things and really taking it in and really bringing it to self, that's your own inherent translation. So your gift will grow it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what shines. That's what connects us as human beings.
Yeah. So, and how does how do you guys host the online events and stuff? How does someone get introduced to your type of work if they do want to take the next step and join the cause?
Yeah, so we have a couple of different ways. We say we've taken June for us to be a big mix-up. So we're creating our book, we're changing a few things.
Mm-hmm.
However, right now, as of today, they can sign up for a newsletter, and that keeps you updated, because the online right at this moment isn't at a regular date because of all these other organic changes that are happening. However, we do let people know through the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is that we offer a 20-minute. It's online. You can book it yourself through an online calendar. And that 20-minute, we're right there with the person on Zoom. And they can ask their questions. We can take them through a process, and they can really feel if this is something that supports them at the time. And then after that, we have session packages or individual packages, whatever suits them. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. So what, in essence, what's the vision? Like, what's that big picture vision as far as for the company, for what you do? What do you say as that next?
For us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go, baby. That's a good one. You've just hit the button. We've been in that discussion. Like I said, this month has been a big month for us. So what we really know is that there's two of us, and that the beauty of what's moved through us all these years and the community we've already supported, we're limited as just two human beings to reach people in how big our heart would like to reach people. So we're in the middle of creating the book, which I see that will move into podcasts in the future, different ways that people can really feel and work with the juice of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing we're doing is that we'll actually begin a mentorship program probably in the next year. We'll take groups of people through the journey, our journey condensed, that will support them with their life wherever they're going. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep, this is such an old expression, but we'll keep moving until the wheels come off. We'll keep doing our retreats wherever we're called, and because we do them in the States and kind of globally. So we'll keep doing that. Yeah, and the vision is really to, right up into the last moment with us, to support as many people as possible, growing fully into their heart, living the life that's calling them, however that looks.
Love it.
Yeah, I feel that every person has a master within, and has a heart, and has whatever's in that infinite space, that God space is what I call it. To meet our deepest, most intimate, pure hearts and come to really know self and to find the master within themselves, do we need more students or do we need more masters? My opinion, this is my own personal, we need more masters. People who do the work and walk through it, even when it's hard and difficult, to find what's on the other side so we can pass it back or pass it forward to those generations that are coming. I have children. My oldest is almost 50, and my oldest granddaughter is 28 now. So really leaving a legacy behind for those coming in behind us.
Powerful stuff. I love it. I love it. And that's the thing I love, because I know that the way I started off as well too, it's so interesting to meet individuals like yourself, to just see the awesome, great work that you do. And I always tell the story, and when I first saw the show, like I had no idea who I was going to attract, because before I started doing this show about 3 weeks ago. I probably talked to like maybe 100 and maybe 13 people or something. You guys might be the 114th guest, but don't quote me on that. Wow. I lost track. But I was thinking back on when when I was growing my business, which is when I did marketing, because really the way I used to meet new individuals was just through marketing. And from what I found with marketing, it's what attracts people is mostly the pain, as far as, hey, this, and that's the type of individuals I attracted. So everyone I attracted was individuals who are more looking for the external type of fixes and stuff like that. But since I started this show, it's like so fascinating to see how individuals like yourself right here, which you have made the shift from seeking outside and just totally inwards and actually looking to connect, because I believe that there's so many other individuals who are seeking this type of knowledge, right? People who've gone through, they've tried, they've done all these different things, and they're looking for a different way, some way that they haven't seen before. And I'm so excited to have you guys here today, because again, I get to share you guys and what you do with the audience as well. So too, so that's just so powerful. I don't see it very often. Everyone I typically see is based on the external techniques, that type of stuff. But it's refreshing to see the whole inner type of work as well too. And I guess the final thing I'll say on that is because as I was on my walk, I think a couple of days ago, listening to that same guy when he said, "Hey, everything is really inside of you," and the thing he says, like, "Hey, I'm on the stage speaking to you right now, but where am I really?" And a few people point on the stage, but he's like, "Am I really there, or am I in you?" And then when he said, I realized, like, that's very interesting, because at the end of the day, it's not out there. Everything that's happening is all within us, right?
Yeah, that was really well said, how you explained that.
So I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that when we start to recognize that, really feel it, and it's not only the goodness in us, it's the things that aren't so good too. And when we can be, like Bill was saying, with the uncomfortable of it all, of our humanity, and really be with it, that's the healing of humanity. When we can recognize, wow, that brings us to witness and be with another in solidarity. That's what allows us to hear another fully, their needs, how we can support. Because when we build these walls of protection over and over and over again, consciously and unconsciously, we separate from humanity, we separate from what the earth needs, and we separate from our past and our legacy of what we're leaving after us. So that was beautifully said.
Sometimes even unknowingly, because, all the, epigenetics, it's held in our DNA. So our ancestors are right with us. And so whatever we heal within self actually is a healing for them as well. The main purpose is for us to heal the self first, because the bigger self is a universal consciousness, which is still self, but in a bigger range. So whatever I do within self translates to all my ancestors, and it's just so powerful. We can heal the planet.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
So I just believe that when we realize the power of the heart and we step into that vulnerable space and that purity, when we speak, we'll be heard.
Love it. Okay, so if someone, in terms of the next step wise, right? So if someone from the audience were like, "Man, I love this message. This was awesome. This is exactly what I needed," what would be the best way for them to reach out and connect?
Yeah, so they can get a hold of us on our website, which is evolutionofheart.com. Also, they can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram and Facebook. And on Instagram, they can sign up directly to our newsletter and our 20-minute session, just like the website. So that would be the next step, is really meet us and have that 20-minute with us, and then we can go from there. Yeah.
Awesome.
I wanted to just give you 2 words to chew on. You're very curious. Yeah. And so when we start looking inside, when we start seeing whatever our experience is outside is also within us, and it starts to be uncomfortable, and we learn, how to process different things moving through us, how to integrate it, then what we're doing is we're no longer spiritual bypassing, and we're no longer emotional bypassing. When we spiritual bypass and we emotional bypass, we separate ourselves from humanity. and from reality. Because what we're doing is then we're trying to influence our illusion on another. So I just wanted to, so in your experience, just a little bit of what you're saying, you were beginning to integrate about, yeah, this is interesting, the inside world, you're starting to feel it. You know, one of our practices is walking. Your feet and legs, your pelvis helps integrate emotion. We're all going to have emotion right now about what's moving in the world. And so the walking really helps with that emotion moving. It helps your body. Your body already knows what to do. It's a willingness to allow yourself to listen to that and honor it. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, Bill Patricia, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. I really enjoyed this this conversation, and I like to say, whenever you have time flies so fast when you're having fun, right? So, what's the let me see. Any final thoughts before we end?
What would you like to say, Bill?
You know, the beginning of our workshops, especially when we're in a group, but online too, the first question we ask, and of course it's between you and God, is how deep is your yes? It's a big question. And when we go inside and there is a yes there, then there's a place of surrender where it's no longer in our hands. And we're just simply being guided from within. And then the second question, which I feel is really important, it has been for me, is what am I devoted to in life? So I just wanted to leave those two.
For anyone to inquire.
And for anyone on your show to just take a look at that.
Yeah, it's an inquiry, it's a journaling, it's a really checking in. You know, when am I devoted to? Moment to moment, day to day. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, again, thank you so much for making the time to be here today. I really, really appreciate it. Enjoy, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Yeah, take care. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Same here. Awesome.
Bye.
Have a good one. Okay.
Bye.